When a person understands what cancer is, it becomes very easy to recognize that when people choose to disobey God as a pattern of their lives, what they become is a cancer upon their world, a cancer upon their societies. And therefore, it is our job not to be that. When a person understands life on a cellular level, it becomes easy to recognize how similar it is to our own existence, to our own societies. What happens on a cellular level is that you have millions and millions and millions of nanobots, little tiny machines, little tiny factories, which operate completely outside of our control, who form societies which we call our own bodies. Each one of these machines, each one of these nanobots has a specific function, and as long as they fulfill that function, our body is healthy and their society continues to live. You don't believe me that it is their world and not our own? Consider our autonomic nervous system. Consider our immune system. They all operate outside of our conscious control. It's not our world. It is the world of the nanobots which make up our body. It is their society. Same with cancer. Consider what cancer is. Cancer is formed when these little nanobots, when these little machines decide to stop doing the function that they were created to do. When they stop obeying the system, when they stop obeying the purpose. Cancer is just immature cells that consume resources and do not contribute anything into the system. They violate the nature of the system, and the more cancer cells there is, the weaker the system becomes, and it eventually dies. And same with our own societies. What does God want from us? Everything that God demands from us, everything that God commands us, is an essential ingredient to successful existence of societies, of effective human interaction, which makes all of our lives easier. When God tells us that we cannot lie, that we cannot steal, that we cannot kill, that we cannot be arrogant, that we cannot consume excessively, all of that, if we all do it, you end up with heaven. People trust each other. They're comfortable around each other. They're not afraid. They're not bullied. They're not depressed. And as soon as there is a part of our people who decide to become thieves, to disobey God in whatever manner, what they end up doing is becoming a cancer in our society. Now all of a sudden, they make you not trust others. They make society much more difficult to operate, just like cancer cells. All they do is consume resources and contribute nothing into the system. They don't serve their purpose. They do not submit to the purpose that God has commanded upon us. And if enough of us become like that, the system has to die. If enough of us become addicts, you see the effects of addiction, the system has to die. If enough of us become liars, the system has to die. If enough of us start robbing, killing each other, the system has to die. And when the system dies, it becomes much, much, much harder for individual components of that system to survive. Like, for example, when our bodies die, the cells that comprise that body also die, because we can no longer provide them fuel, and we can no longer provide them protection, which is the purpose of the system. The only effective way for societies to exist in this world is for all of us to submit to God. And the most perfect society that will reign supreme in the end of times, heaven, will be only filled with those who have decided to submit themselves to their purpose, which is the service of our Lord, the one who created us. So if you don't want to be cancer, you can choose not to be. God tells us in the Quran what we have to do, how we have to behave. Cancer is immature cells. They never mature. And the purpose of Islam, the purpose of submission to God, is to grow into a unit, into an organism that has such emotional control that they can control their fears and desires and submit to God under the worst of circumstances. You can either choose to be cancer, or you can choose to submit to your purpose, which is the service of God. and then ultimately you get to pay or be rewarded. That is what all prophets taught, not just what religions teach, not just what is in the Quran, what they all taught. Peace be with you.